Yo, what up?
What up,
Hey,
bro?
how are you?
How are you?
I like your energy. You're very like awake and excited.
We're awake.
So
We're excited. We're doing this, fam. Let's get it.
love it. So there's so much I want to talk to you about, but we got to start with See You When I Am Famous. I want to talk about the story behind the artwork and just even the title alone. I already saw it, so I'm excited to get into it, but let's hear it from your words first.
Hit me. Okay. So, see you when I'm famous, right? That happened to be my senior quote when I was 17 and in high school. I was really just running out of time when I was in there and didn't really know what to put to sum up what do I want to say to my entire senior class? And I just put see you when I'm famous. And I think the reason I wanted to make it my album title, and that cover is literally just my, that's just like this is out of my yearbook, you know what I mean? And I wanted to make that the title because like I needed to share that story of me being a 17-year-old kid in high school who didn't really know how he was going to achieve these wild dreams he had, but at least just had the confidence and the belief in himself to say, see you when I'm famous before anybody else believed in him. And I think that's something that like kids out there need to really take in. You feel me? You got to believe in you before anybody else will even begin to believe in you. It's got to start with you. You know what I mean?
I love that because you really did speak it into existence. So when you had to pick those lines, were you debating between other things or were you just like, fuck it, I'm just going to do that?
I was debating what the hell else was. I remember it was between two, and like, see when I'm famous wasn't even one of them. I was trying to say something like, shoot for this. It was so whack. I was coming up with something stupid. And then randomly I was running out of time, only had like 13 seconds left. And I was like, see you when I'm famous. Let's do it. And yeah, like I said, I think it's really just about I had to believe in myself, fam, before anybody else did.
That's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about high school. So back in high school, I mean, high school's full of like haters and cliques. So who was Kyle in high school? What group were you in? Like what activities or sports or what classes did you actually like and not like?
In high school, I started off when I first moved to Ventura, like summer of 8th grade. Then I went to high school. I started off, for whatever reason, they thought I was going to be like the superstar athlete. So I started off with just like all the cool kids, right? All the popular, like football player, like type people. And I hated it. Like, that's when I hated high school because everything was like this popularity contest and people were like hella rude to each other. It was whack. You know what I mean? And then probably like 10th grade, I joined the drama department, like for real. And that's when I noticed my whole high school life change because I went from hanging out with the cool kids to the quote unquote uncool kids, but they were way cooler than the cool kids. And my whole entire high school experience just got way cooler. So shouts out to the drama department. Yeah, I love drama, really. That's what it was. When I got to, by the time I was in 12th grade, like my first 5 periods were just drama class. Like I had like stagecraft. Huh?
I was like, they let you do that? Have 5 because I remember in high school it was like you had to have the different subjects, but that's cool that you had 5.
Well, I had already finished a lot of them, and it's like literally first period was stagecraft, second period was drama, third period was drama, and then my fourth period was drama, and then my fifth period was I think I was taking English. And my 6th period was show choir, which was really just the singing part of drama. And yeah, that
so
drama
you really,
the whole time.
All that. What class did you hate the most, or the subject you hate the most in high school?
Man, you know what? I always sucked at what did I suck at? Chemistry. I was so trash at chemistry. And I remember always telling myself, like, when in God's good name am I gonna need to use chemistry? You feel me? Like, why do I need to know this? Am I going to be a chemist myself? No. Like, when am I going to have to add these molecules together? Like, when am I going to need to do that? I felt the same way about algebra. Like, bruh, I do not need that.
I only need a calculator and your phone, and you don't need anything else. Like,
Literally.
so last question I have in regards to high school. So it's always amazing to see how many friends from high school are still in your circle and your friends today.
Woo! Sorry. That one, man, my whole life just flashed before my eyes right now. Who is still my friend? I probably still have a solid, I would say a solid 3 people that I consistently kick it with that are from my high school era. One is my lady, 2 is one of my best friends, Mr. Man, and then 3 is my brother, but I guess that's different because he's my brother, but he's still like high school era.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it.
That's amazing. Okay, so what I really, really loved is, so I'm gonna get into the inspirational side. So I love that you said that you were taking a break from social media and spending the time working on this album, but also finding yourself. So what was the most important thing or the biggest thing you discovered about yourself while creating See You When I Am Famous?
You know, I think the most important thing I discovered about myself were the things that were disguised as growth or disguised as me like changing for the better were really me losing things that were awesome about myself from the past. You know what I mean? I think like the kid that wrote that quote knew something that was very important, which is, you know, you have to believe in yourself without a doubt. You know what I mean? And I think like the bigger that my career got, the more I sort of leaned on the opinions of other people to like sort of satisfy me, because I became so massive that I got so many from so many people. And then I remembered like, no, that kid that wrote this quote, like nobody liked him. Nobody thought he was going to make it happen. Nobody thought he was cool. He was a full-blown drama nerd that just was going to do it with or without anybody else's approval. And so I think that was like the number one thing I realized when I went back to find myself, was having a conversation with that younger me was, wow, I really need to stop caring about if other people approve of what I'm doing or not. You know what I mean? That was never the point in the first place. And yeah, that was something I learned that really helped me out. I feel like was, you got to love yourself before anybody else does. You feel me?
Exactly. Was there something specific that, I mean, obviously you don't have to say like the person, but was there a moment where you realized you were letting that overshadow and like forgetting who you were, whether it was a comment on social media with how crazy social media is now, or just
Yeah.
a hater?
It was, I think it was just an overwhelming amount of one, like the bigger you get, the more hate you're going to get. That's what it is. So yeah, I was definitely getting an overwhelming amount of just hatred online. And you still do to this day, but that you learn that's a part of the game. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people on Instagram who are bored and hateful and are going to say some hateful stuff. That's how that shit goes. But it was that, but then it was also just like an overwhelming amount of pressure to like, now that I have so many eyes and I became like such a big artist, I wanted to be perfect. And I feel like the truth is I'm not meant to be perfect. You know what I mean? I'm meant to be unique. I'm meant to be myself, and I'm meant to be unforgivingly me. And I think that's probably, those two things were probably what was causing me to lose sight of that, to lose sight of like being Kyle, regardless if everybody loves it or hates it. And it was just like, you know what I mean? Pressure to try and be perfect and deliver, and pressure to, and not pressure, just like, damn, like reading some messed up comments. You know where comments are the worst? Yo, don't ever go to World Star Hip Hop and read a comment. That is crazy. I'm talking, yo, like no filter on there. So yeah, just stuff like that.
Is there anything, okay, I love how aware you are of yourself and saying, you know, no one's ever going to be perfect. So what's a flaw that you have or something that you're working on next to be like the next better version of you?
Next step is really freeing myself from like any of my own plans. You know what I mean? I think like some people don't realize is like God has the ultimate plan. You know what I mean? he has the ultimate plan. Like when you make plans, God just laughs. You feel me? And I think like the next breakthrough of wokeness for myself is to like free myself of my own plans and my own expectations and my own like course of where I think I need to steer the ship. I need to let God steer the ship. And that's like sort of what I'm like focused on now.
I love that because, well, I was actually going to close the interview with that, but we'll jump around. You did tweet saying something like, tell the devil to D up because God and I are just getting started. And I love that. So I was going to ask you what God's purpose of your life is. And then I like that you said just letting him do that. Was there something specific where you realized, oh, I wanted this, but then God did this and it ended up working out so much better than what I thought this was going to turn into?
100%. I think a big part of that was this album. I think like when making this album, I wanted this like OD massive thing and to be able to go travel the world and like, you know what I mean, have this moment for myself that I believe I'm so deserving of, you know what I mean? And when COVID hit, it was sort of like I've been working on this album for like a year and a half and I had all the biggest features and I was ready to shoot all the massive videos and like do the whole thing and do this whole grand tour before it dropped and then another tour after it dropped, you know, and all these things I was planning myself. And COVID hit and I was faced with a decision. I either had to not drop the album and wait until I can make all of Kyle's plans happen, right, when COVID is done, or I could do what I feel like I was put here to do, and that's help people through dark, rough times and drop the album anyways, regardless if it was going to be the most commercially successful it could be, or if I was going to be able to make the most money off of it by doing a bunch of shows and, you know what I mean, all those things. Like, I had to realize my mission here is to make people's lives a little bit easier and to make their days seem a little more optimistic when things are really bleak. And if there's any time for a Kyle album to come through and do that, it's right now because things are as bleak as they've ever been. So you feel me? Like, what hero would I be if I just ignored that in the hopes to gain my own plans? And I think that that in itself was God watching me do all this stuff to try and get this thing I feel like I needed, and him just laughing the whole time. So, like, you don't know this yet, Kyle, but there's this thing called COVID-19 coming, and it's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, and I felt like that was an example of that.
That's amazing. I love hearing that because he probably really was sitting there like he's really working way too hard to do something that all he's going to have to do is just drop the album and then it's all going to
And
work.
I'm going to learn that whole life-changing lesson just like that. Like, boom, oh, okay. Maybe I need to make the music just to help people and not in order to gain like fame and money and like international shows. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but now that you did that and now you know what your mission and purpose is in life. Now, once COVID is over, like you will go on like international tours because you did what God wanted you to do instead of what the mass and social media was trying to like force you to do, whether they were saying that in comments or just like in your ear about stuff. So
Jen, boom, you said it perfectly. You said it perfectly right there.
Yes. So, okay, I just have a few more questions. I wanted to ask because you did say something how you were like, back in high school, you were that kid that no one believed in. So we don't need to say names, but are there people from your high school who definitely did not believe you that are like sliding in your DMs or trying to get in the circle of like, oh, I always believed in you, blah, blah, blah.
1,000%, like all day long, especially because I came from like a small town. So it's like, I still remember all of those people. And, you know, I have no malice in my heart and no resentment. So it's always all love. But in the back of my mind, I'm still like, yeah, but you told me I was whack. I remember that specifically. I remember you saying I'm cheeks. So now that I'm proven to not be cheeks, just know that I know. You know,
I remember exactly what you said. Okay, so let's talk about Money Now featuring Tyga. So I loved it because, I mean, the whole album, you can feel the positivity and the confidence, and I love it. So with Money Now, I wanted to ask, what was the first big purchase you made that you realized I really do have money now?
First big purchase I made that made me feel like that. I'm gonna keep it solid. It's not like I bought a house and that was like a big deal because I'm like, whoa, I did that. That's crazy. But first purchase that made me realize I had enough money to do wild stuff with was like I bought like 8 of these very expensive, like custom made signature lightsabers that are good for nothing but just sitting there. And once I dropped like a couple $1,000s on that, I realized, okay, I might actually have some bread because that was a stupid purchase and I don't feel any type of negative way about it. Like I'm nothing but happy I did that. But at the same time, it's like, damn, that's a bag on some Star Wars memorabilia. That was probably it.
I was like, where are those lightsabers right now? Just in a room?
I got a couple of them. I don't know if there's one in one of my closets. They're around though. That's the thing. Where are they? I have no clue. They're just somewhere here, like in a closet or something.
So everyone needs to get on that level when you can buy 8 lightsabers for nothing and you don't know where they are for thousands. That's when you know you have money now.
That's when you know you're balling.
Do you have any advice for people when it comes to like their finances or budgeting and expenses? I was like asking people that just because I don't know.
100%. I would say first piece of advice when trying to do good things with your finances is putting your money into situations that make you more money. You know what I mean? I'd say somehow, whether it's like one of the most financially secure things I ever did was buy a house. And in buying that house, now I have something that can make me money pretty much for the rest of my life. You feel me? So somehow find ways to take your money and take it out of your pocket and put it into a safe place that's earning you more money. That's probably as safe as you can possibly be. You feel me?
Of interest. That's the goal. So that last question. So like I said, love the positivity. What advice do you have for people to overcome their fears and also face themselves? I think that a lot of people fear looking in the mirror and admitting their flaws and what they need to work on. So what's your advice for that?
I would say, you know, it's crazy. You kind of gave the answer in the question. Like,
yeah.
In order, like, you have to rid yourself of fear. That should be everybody's first goal in life. You know what I mean? Because fear can taint happiness. Fear can taint love. Fear can taint self-worth. It can taint all of those things. So you have to rid yourself of fear. And the way you rid yourself of fear is by facing yourself and facing your biggest fears. You feel me? When you can really confront yourself and confront the things that you're doing wrong or the things that you know you need to change about yourself, or just the things you need to accept, things you can't change. The moment you can accept yourself and love yourself, you have nothing to fear. You have no reason to fear what somebody else says about you. You have no reason to fear some expectation somebody else gives you. You have nothing to fear at that point. You know what I mean? Except fear. So definitely facing yourself and accepting yourself. You know what I mean? Working it out with yourself and accepting who you are and loving that person. Boom. Fear is gone. You have nothing to fear after that. So, yeah.
Amen. That was like the best way to end it. So thank you so much. I'm going to put this on my story first really quick to promote
Let's
that
get
we
it.
did it.
Let's get it.
All right. It's always awkward doing these and it's recording.
Hey, what's up, y'all? You know who it is. It's Kyle here hanging out with Jen, just breaking down life. Check it out, okay? Check out the interview right now. All right, we just did that. Oh, yeah. Woo!
No, I love that. No, it's, on a serious note, though, I really, it's amazing to see your growth, and it's genuine. Just seeing like the glow up is real, and
Thank you.
It's amazing to see how far you've come. So thank you so much for your time and for your advice for everyone. And I think that this is really going to change a lot of people's lives. And I know you're going to go international, so I can't wait to see that.
Yep. Hey, Jen, thank you so much. I appreciate the love, and it's awesome to see your glow up too. So have a good one.
Thank you. You too.